Okay, let's dive in. Identity. It feels, really basic, doesn't it?
Totally. Like, something is what it is. Seems about as simple as it gets.
But what if there's more to it? What if that simple idea is actually, well, deeper?
Yeah, it's funny how we build so much on these ideas we hardly ever, poke at.
Exactly. And taking a closer look, like we're doing today, can be surprisingly revealing.
Mm-hmm. We've been looking at this article, right, proposing a new take on the principle of identity.
A refined logical formula, yeah. And the mission here is to sort of unpack that, understand this new idea and what it means for other logical rules.
And it's not just logic puzzles, is it? How we define is kind of impacts everything else.
Right. So let's start traditional. What's the classic way we think about the principle of identity?
Well, the standard formula is just A is A. Simple.
The thing is itself.
Exactly. It's identical to itself, always. Seems pretty undeniable on the surface.
It really does. But this article we read, it argues we need to tweak that a little. What's the proposed change?
The author suggests A with an only if A.
Okay, A if and only if A. That feels specific. What's the big deal with adding only if?
Well, the only if brings in this idea of exclusivity. It's crucial.
Exclusivity. How so?
So A is A just says if you've got A, then yeah, it's A. But A, if and only if A, adds another layer. It says A is A and only A is A.
So it's not just saying what A is, but also what it isn't. It rules other things out.
Precisely. It makes it a two-way street. A is A, and if something isn't A, then it just isn't A. It locks the identity down much tighter.
Okay, I think I'm getting that. And this is where it connects to other big logic principles, right? Like non-contradiction.
Exactly. So traditionally, non-contradiction is A cannot be both A and not A.
Right. Can't be true and false at the same time.
Yeah. And if we accept this stricter A, if and only if A, where A is only A.
Then the idea of it also being not A just doesn't compute.
Good.
It's already ruled out by the definition of A itself.
You got it. The stronger identity principle inherently supports non-contradiction. It makes the contradiction even more, well, contradictory.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. It sort of reinforces. Okay, what about the other one? The law of the excluded middle, that everything's either A or not A.
Right. The idea that there's no third option, no middle ground.
How does A, if and only if A, fit with that?
Well, the article argues it fits really well. If A is defined so strictly, if it is only A, then anything that falls outside that definition must, by necessity, be not A.
So the sharp boundary created by if and only if leaves no gray area.
Exactly. It reinforces that binary. It's either A, defined this very specific way, or it falls into the not A category. The sharp definition supports the excluded middle.
So the core argument here is that this refined identity principle, A, if and only if A, it doesn't just define identity better, it actually creates more harmony between these fundamental logical laws.
That's the main thrust, yeah. It suggests a more coherent, interconnected foundation for logic itself.
Wow. It's kind of cool how a subtle shift in phrasing, like adding only if, can ripple outwards like that.
It really is. It kind of makes you wonder about other foundational ideas we take for granted.
Definitely. So for you listening, what's the kind of takeaway here? The aha moment.
I think maybe it's realizing that even the stuff that seems super obvious, like a thing is itself, can have these hidden layers.
Yeah.
And how we define our basic terms, our building blocks, it really shapes how we construct everything else on top of them.
Okay, so let's quickly recap. We looked at this proposed shift for the principle of identity from A is A to A if and only if A. And the argument is that this change gives a stronger foundation, not just for identity, but also helps unify it with non-contradiction and the law of the excluded middle.
Right. It paints a more consistent picture.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on.
Yeah. Does thinking about identity this if and only if way, does that change how you think about everyday definitions?
Like when we categorize things, or people, or even ourselves, if something is X and only X, what does that imply?
Does it make our categories sharper, maybe too rigid, or does it bring clarity? Something to think about.